Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, family, to Lone Wolf Firearms Training. I'm your host on this 28th day of October of 2023. We are looking forward to having an amazing conversation. I would say this is a special edition. A special edition. We don't normally come on Saturdays like this. It's normally Sunday through Thursday. I didn't come on what Thursday or Wednesday of last week. But today is a special day, a special time. I have a friend of mine who's going to join me, Dr. Randy Short, shortly. We're going to discuss some issues, some topics today. Again, I'm looking forward to the conversation. Just want to make sure that I am broadcasting on all these social media platforms. Because I know, again, Facebook has a way, and other platforms have a way of limiting your reach when you're trying to make a difference. So I want you to get all your friends, call your neighbors, tell them to tune in to Lone Wolf Firearms Training with Dr. Randy Short, a special edition. We're going to talk about quite a few issues on today. Looking forward to it. With that said, if you are looking, you see that lwftraining.com on the screen. That is the website in case you are wondering if you need some training, if you want your handgun qualification license, if you want your wear and carries, your concealed carries, if you want your intro to basic firearms, if you want to get rid of your guns and turn them over to our company for educational purposes. We'll do it. Go to lwftraining.com. Again, call a friend of me, call a family member, and let's have this conversation. Um, Again, welcome. It's good to be here on this October 28th. Uh, it's a lot going on in this world, a lot going on. And I'm here tonight because, one, you know, if it seems to me that Black thought, Black speech has been silenced, except for when we are called on to take sides in other conflicts or other issues. But outside of that, you don't see people supporting our issues and our concerns, which I am concerned about that. Uh, Let me get this concerns. Um, okay, again, I'm very concerned about that, family. Our issues are not being addressed, except for when we're called on to support other issues from everybody else. And I've always known and always seen that. I mean, I've been on social media for a long time. I've been a critic of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. If you follow me for any length of time, you know I'm an independent. Independent, I mean I'm an independent thinker. I'm a critical thinker. If you don't know me, if you're new to me, I am a retired police officer, 20, well, let's say 3 decades, almost 3 decades. And I'm currently a firearm instructor. This right here is a company, along with firearms training. And we train you to become responsible gun owners and gun users. I am an advocate of the Second Amendment. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in a well-regulated militia being necessary to secure the free state. Shall not be infringed. I believe that every qualified, mentally sane citizen of this United States should be able to protect themselves, protect their family, protect their friends, protect their community, protect their city, protect their county, protect their state, and if possible, you just may have to protect the nation. Okay, that's what the Second Amendment is all about. And you're having a firearm should not be infringed, meaning the government cannot stop you, the government cannot keep you and from having one. Okay, if you don't, well, let me say this: every state had their own laws, their own regulations, and there's certain things you just can't have, certain things you just can't be. So if you're a felon, you are disqualified immediately. If you've been institutionalized in a mental health facility, uh, you're going to be disqualified. Okay. If you get a temporary restraining order, if you're a habitual drunkard or an addict who's been found guilty numerous times, you're not going to be able to have it. Let's keep it 100. You're not going to be able to have a gun. Okay. Yeah. So, but I believe that if you can meet all the requirements and you are an American citizen, it is your right to bear arms. Again, the Second Amendment is not a suggestion, it's the right of the people. And when you understand the Second Amendment, you understand that the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. And if you're unaware of what the First Amendment is, it deals with your freedom of religion, that you can practice whatever religion you want to in America. You can be a Muslim, a Catholic, a charismatic, and you can even practice the religion of Satan. Okay, it's freedom of religion. Okay, freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, but again, saying what you want don't mean there's no consequences to what you say. But the first one deals with freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. You can assemble in groups of 2, 3, and 4. You can protest. That's the First Amendment. Okay. You can freedom of press. You know, we should be able to write and say the truth. We should be able to print the truth, write the truth. Social media should be able to say the truth. Freedom of the press is evolving because a lot of our content is digital. You know, some of our legacy stations, some of our legacy. Uh, what's up, brother Devin? Good to see you, my brother. Some of our how I say this, we're getting our stuff digital these days. Okay, some of our legacy institutions, like your newspapers, they're about to become obsolete because right now most of your information is through the internet, social media. Okay, so you have freedom of religion. Okay, you get freedom of speech. Okay, you get freedom of the press. Okay, you get freedom of assemble, and you get freedom of petition to petition your government of grievances. Okay, when you petition your elected official about some laws that you don't approve of. Okay, again, family, I don't think you understand just how important that First Amendment is. And I know you may not understand just how important that Second Amendment is. That Second Amendment, it does not just deal with guns, okay? Because when I say guns, that's why I got God weapons in the conversation, Dr. Short. Weapons, meaning battleships, fighter jets, cruise missiles, grenades, an army, navy, air force, marine, Okay, you know that Second Amendment, it encompasses everything it takes to make sure that we have those freedoms. Okay, and as a person who did law enforcement for 3 decades, man, I understand the importance of the First Amendment, that freedom of speech, okay, that freedom of religion, that freedom of the press, that freedom of petition and assembly. Because around the world, in other countries, they don't have this. I would just say that America is the only nation left in the world where the citizens can be armed. And I'll give one exception right now, because you got that Ukraine war that's going on with Russia. And when Russia invaded the Ukraine, it was the government that armed the citizens. All hands was on deck because of that invasion. Okay. But prior to that, they just had a military, just a military, just an army, a navy, a Air Force, Marines. That's why you really, really must understand the power of the Second Amendment and the First Amendment. Because there will be no First Amendment without the Second Amendment. It's not just the guns, family. It's not just the guns. And it's so much bigger than the guns. And if I can reintroduce to our collective, reintroduce to the next generation, responsible gun ownership, those who are ready to defend themselves, defend their families, defend their friends, defend their communities, defend their city, their county, the state, and even the nation. Because I understand this, family, in the bigger scheme of things, right? When I swore to become a police officer and I retired, but you had to basically swear to protect against foreign and domestic enemies. Okay. Normally, the military, your Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, they're on standby to fight foreign wars. But law enforcement, your national law enforcement, they are your domestic soldiers. Okay. So when you understand that when you have to defend against foreign and domestic, uh, it gives you a whole different frame, a whole different mindset. And again, I'm one who believes that, look, I'm Black American. I'm foundational Black American. I'm colored. I'm what they call the Negro, depending on what generation that you was brought up in. Because we still got folks from the Negro generation. They still got Negro on their birth certificate. Some have colored on their birth certificate. Some have Black on their birth certificate. Okay. Some may even have now African American. But I come from that lineage. I come from that lineage, and I understand that the soil that we stand on has the blood of my ancestors in that soil. Okay. And before the soil can say one word, it coughs up the blood of my ancestors and your ancestors. So this is our country. We built this. We have a right, we have a stake here. Okay. And ain't no go back to where you came from. When you be here 400-500 years, we here. We here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. We may go visit other places, but this is what we built. There will be no America without the contribution of foundational Black Americans. And I mean that there will be no Statue of Liberty, no immigrants coming here and enjoying the American dream without the contributions, the sacrifice of Black, foundational Black Americans. Again, that African American piece has evolved. It was good when it lasted. Yes, it became popular when Jesse Jackson ran. Okay. But everything has an expiration date, family. Everything. Your vegetables in your refrigerator, they expire. Your fruit, they expire. Even your canned foods that's canned, they have an expiration date. So you have to know when things expire and when some new things must replace that. Okay. So what I do in others who are in this whole gun era of trying to promote self-defense, self-reliance, uh, economic empowerment. We watched the mistakes of old, and we're trying to correct some things. We're really trying to correct these mistakes that some of our, I would say, good intention forefathers, family members have done. I mean, we're Generation X and the millennials. We have to clean up. We get to clean up some mistakes that, again, some good intention family members have done, or that we get to clean up a lot of the baby boomers and the silent generation. They really put us in a pickle. They really messed us up. That silent generation and these baby boomers. If you were born in 1946, 1964, you're a baby boomer. And you've really messed up this country. And this silent is before that. But I'm going to, I just set the tone. I think I got Dr. Short in the studio. I'm gonna bring him up. Again, we're gonna just have a little conversation, special edition with Longbow Firearms Training. And again, go to LWF Training for your firearms needs. And let's bring in Dr. Short. Let's have this conversation. Let me present to some and introduce to others Dr. Randy Short. Let's see where he is. Where are you? Doc, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Well, how come I don't see you?
Oh, no, I'm just on audio.
You don't want to go to face again? You don't want it to be seen?
No, I don't need to be seen right at this moment. What if I'm in the bathroom? Do you want people to see rolls of toilet paper? Do you want to hear my voice?
Is that a trick question?
No. Okay.
No, Doc. If you're in the bathroom, no, we don't want to see that. That'll be too
exactly.
much.
Okay.
Again,
I'm singing "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" to my colon.
Okay, a lot of information there. Okay, so look, Dr. Short, we're going to have him again as the voice of reason. He was on with us on Tuesday. Yeah, brother. He was with us on Tuesday, and we talked about the guns and buyback, and he talked about the Palestinian peace and just a whole lot of different topics. So again, this is a special edition, and I just want to ask the good doctor to introduce himself again and let people know who you are, the new folks and the old folks.
Well, you're speaking to a person from the DMV and a little bit of everything. In the words of what's the guy's name? Gershwin and Gershwin. I've got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. So I'm from Washington and Northern Virginia and a little bit of Southern Maryland. And my perspective is mine. It's a combination of church and alley, academy, and public school. church and prison, uh, Christian and yet somewhat worldly and secular at the same time, uh, Black and American, American Black, and yet a person that's a little familiar with things in the world. So that's sort of how it is, really. And so I don't know. We there's so much to talk about. I mean, so many different things going on in the world. So many things that are happening that are pertaining to Black people.
Doc, before you go there, tell them what school, what college did you attend, so they can get an idea of your
What
education.
the well, I'll pick the school that people are most comfortable with. I'm
Okay,
a two-time graduate of Howard University.
okay,
So I have an undergraduate, and degrees don't mean that much, especially student loans have just completely ruined the value of degrees. But when school was affordable, degrees meant something. Now it's basically a debt that you got to pay off. You know,
facts.
so when you get a tattoo, you pay it off once you leave the shop. When you get a degree, you'll be paying that shit off till you die. So I have
Hmm.
an undergraduate degree from Howard University in, I guess, Black diaspora and Black U.S. history and the classics, and a little bit, just a little bit of ancient history. That's been so long ago. And of course, I have a doctorate in African studies, which in reality is research on racism and colonialism and contemporary African history. And I know some, of course, Black American history, and of course, some world history. So I'm sort of a person that knows about world religions a little bit, world history a little bit,
Hmm.
um, race relations. And so I'm sort of an eclectic combination of knowledge of history. And so religion, social change, history, race relations. I'm somewhere in there and conversing with lots of different things. And other than that, I can say to you, because we want to get on, this is the thing that's always awkward. I'm going to just say this. I hope your audience isn't like that. I did a program with Sister Sean,
Right.
and I, I'm happy to just come in and do a topic. I'm going to say something to you about how jacked up and janky Black people are. When you watch the news, you have the same white talking heads that are paid by rich white people that hate poor and Black people and everybody else's guts. And someone pays to have these same people tell you the same lies time and time and time and time and time and time again.
Hmm.
And no one, other than you hear the name, you hear what institution they come from, maybe they have a book, and that's enough.
Right.
When you talk to colored people, uh, the
They got
fact
it.
that I'm on the platform should be enough. The same way if they're on television, that's enough for them to be there.
Right.
Now, here's the issue: the white folks that you see never explain what their agenda is, where they come from, who they are, why they are,
Hmm.
and yet
Hmm.
if you take the time to do that, for all the diminished, pardon my language, fuck niggas out there, if you've done something they haven't done, they feel
Hmm.
like you're boasting and you're talking down to them.
Right.
Do you get where I'm coming from? Where it becomes a no-win situation. I didn't ask to introduce myself. I simply came in and gave a 2-hour lecture over the last 300 years dealing with France and Africa, which
Hmm.
should have spoken for itself because most people listening didn't know a damn thing I was talking about. To me, that was enough. And if they were
Right.
smart, were taking notes. But for her, oh, they need to know who you are. To me, it's not so important for them to know who I am as to learn what it was I told them and to check it out. Maybe I'm lying.
Right.
Um, so I says, well, how do you explain who you are to people? And why would that make people listen or respect it more? Right?
Right.
If I name Howard, I can say that Howard has done a lot of stuff to hurt the Black community here in DC. Sure, they have.
Mm.
So, if I said Hampton, if I said any white elite school, they got their endowments and all off of Black slavery. So I'm naming an institution or an entity that hurt us. If I name a corporation that got its money off of basically the everything that you could say to make yourself have some credibility with your own people are things that have been bad for us. So even the introduction is kind of wacky. And why would that matter? Because there are lots of people that have gone to big name schools or HBCUs and they betray and lie to us. Do you get
Doc.
where I'm coming from? So I tried to figure out how can I say this and as well. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
We don't mind rappers who have a mixtape or a new release stream 100 or 60,000 copies, and we they can boast and brag.
Mhm.
We don't like when people have gone into higher ed and are cocky. They can't be proud, or because so many of us, not all, but a lot of us don't go to advanced schools. Not that we can't, in particular, a
Right.
lot of dudes. And a lot of folks have issues with reading and writing, let's just be honest. So what has happened is people have vilified people
Mhm.
who
Mhm.
have gone to these places. Sometimes the people should be vilified, right? So when you do this big introduction to a lot of people, man, you ain't nothing to do all day. In the words of one of my students, if you are such a good teacher, why are you here? So, in other
Mm.
words, you can't be about anything because you're here with us.
Mm.
Okay, and
Interesting.
if I say, well, I've done these things, it says, well, you must have not succeeded there because you're still with us. Now, the good news is that young guy did something, broke a window, and they're going to throw him out of school, of which he was going to catch hell when he got home.
Okay.
And I said to him, you don't have to go home. Give me 4 minutes to change your academic life. I wrote a letter under his email to the president of the school. The president retracted his immediate expulsion order of the student in 10 minutes.
Mm.
And the young man says, I owe you an apology. I'm so glad you're here. How did you know? I told him he'll take you back in 15 minutes.
Right.
How do you know? I said, there's a lot of things I know, but you'll never learn them if you spend your time rejecting and ignoring me.
Mm.
It's true, I should be paid more for what I do for you, but the fact that I'm willing to take what pay they do give me to be here for you, shouldn't you meet me halfway and receive what I'm trying to give you? I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not pushing drugs to you, not trying to punk you. I'm not trying to sodomize you, take your girlfriend, take your money, work you to death, flunk you. You can't work with me after all the negative time you spent in public schools. Now you're in my presence and you bring me toxicity of other people, but I bring you peace and good tidings. Can't we work through this, young brother? And he turned himself around and got himself together.
That's
But a
beautiful.
lot of times we we don't we don't give each we are demanding love and acceptance from all these other people, what I say, the people of crap, people of color, my ass. We're asking everybody else to love and embrace us, but we reject and we're harsh and we haze one another. In fact,
Why do you think this?
the
You think
the
why?
well, let me just say this and I'll answer. The apex of Black culture, the boule, is all about hazing and rejecting and hurting people. And after I've busted up your spleen, hitting you on the ass with the board, and after I've slapped you around and spit on you, now I can love on you and just want that's and it's interesting. America's been hazing us. We think if America keeps hazing us, they'll eventually love us too. It's not true. They'll probably kill us all.
Mm.
Why do I think it is? It's very simple. And I'm gonna start off with here, and then we can get into the contemporary topics.
Okay.
Black folks are lost in a major way. In particular, where we're specifically lost, where it's most crucial, and the one place that we have power and agency. In other words, the one place where we could be powerful and no one
Mhm.
can take from us is our heart, soul, and mind. That's
Right.
where we are most destroyed. We've got what, $1.2 trillion coming into our pockets. We've got black millionaires and wealthy people and doctors and nurses and homes and yachts and celebrities and even a few billionaires. But we've lost our connection with our creator, right? And our ancestors, I repeat, our ancestors
Okay.
had a connection to the Most High. That's, in fact, I'm going to ask you for a favor. Can you get me a gift?
Sure. What you need?
Okay. I want, in fact, I thought about it last night, and this is something that we could do on your platform, and you should get it for me and get it for you. There is a phenomenal book called We Will Shoot Back, and it's a book on black self defense among blacks in Mississippi. I'm going to do it on my Angry Black Men's channel, but I think it would be a helpful book for you. And I'm thinking I'm going to give that because I just like you. First and foremost, let me just say this. I think I told you the other day, but I don't use my first name. I'm named for my great uncle who hated dark
Right.
skinned people. And
Right.
so I have a serious hatred of colorism. So part of the reason I like you is you're black. Blacker the person, the more likely I'm gonna be nice to them. It's almost my way of giving a finger to the person I'm named for, who could pass. I don't like that stuff. You know about the Proctors and Swans. Those crazy. Those are it's the sick one. I hate it. All my life I've wanted to destroy that stuff. So I'm gonna do that because show solidarity. In fact, he was my aunt's second husband. She was so mean to her first husband, dark skinned man, he blew his head off.
Mm.
See how see how colorism is?
Yeah.
Hmm. See, no, she drove that nigga to suicide. I don't like this. By the way, when my aunt died, I didn't go to her funeral, and I didn't go neither one of them. To hell with that. I resent it. So, but anyway, we can. The book is called "We Can Shoot Back."
We can
I'm
shoot
going
back.
to. Yeah, and so we can go through that because I think that would help your program if you use that as a text for your show. And that way we can get a book because I tell you, a lot of times when people hear King James Version, they think it's a sellout book without recognizing that the white powers that be saw the King James Bible in the hands of a black person as the most dangerous document available. In fact, part of our people being lost is we don't have anything foundational. Our people used to have something foundational. It may have been mistaught or misrepresented to us, but that Bible got a whole lot of schools, hospitals, clinics, businesses. It even got Negroes who take up weapons to defend themselves. It did for David Walker and Nat Turner. It
Yes.
even had white folks like John Brown going out offing white people behind what the
Yes.
Bible said. There were white folk who died over what was in the Bible for black people. Elijah P. Lovejoy. There were
Mm.
people who literally died for black people because of the book. The book says, for God I live, for God I die. The black men that were in the Civil War, the 3 or 4 or 500,000 black people that fought in the Civil War, don't ever go with the 185,000. It's a damn lie, folks. It's more than that. 40,000 black people from Canada alone came to the United States to fight in the Civil War. If you understand that the Union Army was 1 million men, maybe it's a little bit more than that, but definitely a million. If you sit down and you figure out that, I'm gonna round that up because there are people from other places that over 40,000 blacks from Canada came in and fought. On record,
Hmm.
they had something like 188,000 black men that fought, and the United States covered troops. You add that number, 40 plus, I'm around to 190, then that's 230,000 soldiers. And you know what? We left out the tens of thousands that served in the Navy, that over 25% of the Union Army was black.
Hmm.
I want to say to you that my great, great, great grandfather served in both the United States Army and the United States Covered Troops, fought as both a black man and a white man. A whole lot of black folks fought in the United States regular army. Remember, a significant number of black folks can pass back then, meaning
Right.
that the Union Army may have even been almost a third to a half black.
That's
The reason
true.
I'm bringing it up is if anyone does any research, the first United States Army chaplain, Bishop Henry McNeil Turner of the AME Church, it was a black preacher quoting the King James Bible that demanded, along with Frederick Douglass, that black men be given guns to fight for their freedom right here in Washington, D.C. Even with white people trying to burn the churches, stoning and shooting, you organized the United States First Covered Troop here in Washington, D.C. in 1863. Over 8,000 people, even running away as far as Georgia, ran away through enemy lines to join the United States Covered Troops, and their chaplain, who would lead people into battle with no gun, with the Bible in his hand, with white folks shooting, black men, like they talk about these people in the Middle East. A lot of people don't know that black men in the Civil War sometimes didn't even have guns. They fought white people with their bare hands. They didn't have guns all the time. They fought anyway. What did they do before they attacked? They didn't have the right shoes. They were paid less money. They didn't have the right gunpowder. They would have Bible studies and prayer and go fight the white folks for our freedom.
Mm.
For all the bullshit niggas out there, all the ones into this Egyptology bullshit, when has all this stuff y'all taught? Sonetta and the rest of you, when is it translated into any stance for black freedom? Where are these pyramid Negroes when our neighborhoods are being overrun by invaders? Where is their movement when our children are missing, when our women are missing, when fentanyl's in our neighborhood? Name a drug rehab or a drug treatment center that you pyramid Negroes, you conscious community people who preach against organized religion and have nothing to put in its place.
Mm.
Answer me
Facts.
that. You don't have an answer. And so part of it is our people are spiritually being eaten alive by self-hating, Pan-Africanists, folks who want to live in the glories of Egypt and can't get the broken glass off the streets that they live in, can't get the roaches or the mice or the mildew out of the projects we live in, can't do one thing today. And the one thing that used to work, the black church, and you know I don't like nigger preachers. I went to divinity school. I I don't even talk to practically anybody. I didn't like the people I went to school with. They weren't going to help anybody in the community. I don't think they know who God was. They were there to hurt our people. Let me just say to you, most preachers are white boys with melanin. They don't
Mm.
want to help us. They won't help us. They're against us. I have been told I was a communist by one of the people in the Ministerial Alliance in DC because I was talking about poor black people need to be stood up for. And the guy says, "You're a communist."
Wow.
A communist, brother. Oh, yeah. Or I was talking to the pastor. I'm going to give you on the phone with us earlier, right?
I was.
Okay. Now,
we were talking about a minister. I'm gonna say the nigga's name, Reverend McNeil. There's a group of black pastors to, who are getting white money to promote euthanasia in the black community. Euthanasia means mercy killing, to kill old and sick and handicapped and disabled people. It's called Compassion to Care. Strongest chapters in Prince George's County, Maryland.
For those
In
who are
fact,
unaware,
Prince George's County.
remember Dr. Kevorkian, he was very instrumental in that. Dr. Kevorkian.
Right. Now they got black Reverend Kevorkians. They nearly passed in 2019 a resolution for euthanasia in Prince George's and in D.C. It's a bunch of black priests. They can't stand up crooked cops. They can't fight gentrification. They can't keep the predator pedophiles out of the schools. They can't advocate for our prisoners that don't even get proper food or educational opportunities to be when they come out. But they can advocate for us to kill our grandmothers and our grandfathers. So on one hand, we've got this group of traitors. And then we got the other group of traitors that are crying over Palestine, and it's worth crying over, but they're not crying for Congo. They're talking about displacing 2.3 million people from Gaza Strip. It's a crime against God. It's a human rights violation, but they've displaced 23 million people in Congo. 10 times that number. They're talking about 7,000 dead people in Gaza. They've killed 7 million in Congo. When do the numbers matter to these fools? And since they're Pan-Africanists, right? Has there been a call for these Pan-Africanists for us to boycott France? No, because they want to go to Paris.
I haven't heard not one boycott.
Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
So we're lost. And you know what? If you don't know, if you're in a boat, have you ever been on a boat before? I'm certain you have. Have you ever gone walking in the woods and lost your way? If you didn't know where you were going, it wouldn't matter where you ultimately end up. If you don't know who and what you are and where you're from and what you're about, then none of the things matter. You know what? When that devil down in Florida, this Satan, attacked Black history, the entire Black world in America should have said, to hell with you. When they mass murder people in grocery stores, they mass murder Black people in churches. When they mass incarcerate, everything says that they're at war with us. And these bastards are talking about Dr. King's beloved community. Dr. King ain't Jesus.
Facts.
And Dr. King didn't have kids out of wedlock. You know, there's an allegation that Dr. King has a daughter. And you know what? As much as they talk about loving everybody, do you really think the King kids are going to share money with this girl who's possibly Martin Luther King's daughter?
Absolutely not.
They're not. So all this love and reconciliation that we shall overcome, not when it comes down to money. They fought over his Bible. And I bet you if Coretta Scott King has some draws, they'd sell those too, like the Kinder Kids, and fight over it. I said that too. Not to diminish Martin Luther King, because he has a really good speech that we can work on called The Sword That Heals. But we have to understand our people are lost. And yes, I don't care who I offend. I'm a Bible-believing Pentecostal Negro, FBA, Black American. I believe in Christ, a Black man that lived in Palestine fighting against white supremacy. It's interesting, the same columns and the same symbols that represent America are the same symbols that represented the ancient Roman Empire. And like the ancient Roman Empire stole all of its resources from Egypt and Africa and Palestine, this empire steals its resources from Africa and the Middle East, just on a bigger scale. Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. So, but we We don't understand that we're at spiritual war, and the greatest weapon that could ever be done. In fact, in ancient times, when one people conquered another people, they didn't just rape the women and the boys and kill the men. They did something else. They always took the gods of the people that
Mhm.
they conquered. In other words, you have to worship. You can't have your beliefs. You won't have a God that's for you. You can have our God. And our God says you're slaves. In other words, the warfare, I'll teach you in theology school, it's called theomachy. Theos for God, maki, war. And the war of the gods, you get the people that you subjugate to give up on the God that they had to take yours. Part of being enslaved is losing your God. Part of why we're bigger slaves now than we were 150 years ago is we're into their gods.
Mhm.
Promiscuity, LGBTQ, being intoxicated, killing babies, all the stuff that we're not about, we weren't about, we are now. And what's the main text that attacks all the stuff, all the paganism, all the Luciferianism? It was in that King James Bible. So
Mhm.
they've got the black, so-called black conscious people with the white supremacists, both evangelical and neo-pagan. They all hate one thing: black belief in a God that's for black people, in particular, a God that will fight for black people. A God that describes himself as a battle axe in the time
Mhm.
of war. The God that says, if you have your stuff, sell it and get yourself a weapon. Don't be out there by yourself.
That's my God.
That's Nat Turner's God.
Luke.
That's
Mine.
that's that's Medgar Evers' God. It's Robert Williams' God. It's our God we don't want anymore. We got a faggotized, punked out, it's your thing, do what you want to do with it, white supremacy God with some melanin makeup on it and some, Some Adrenca symbols and some Greek letters and some Egyptology shit scribbled on it, and we think it's going to free us.
Mm.
If that stuff was so powerful, we had 50 years of this Afrocentric Pan Africanist shit. We've
And the
never been
results.
more screwed up, never been more screwed up. And I can add the Islamic stuff too. I don't see how it's helped us. The Palestinian blacks are third class citizens. You know what? When they wanted to show some black Palestinians on October 7th, they showed some black Palestinians grabbing some Jewish prisoners. In fact, the people that you saw Palestinians
Doc, your
that were inflamed,
Doc, your voice is they're messing with your voice, your feed.
of course they're gonna mess with my feed.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, they're
look,
messing with your feed.
these people need are you hearing me clearly, yes or no?
I hear you now. Keep going.
People need to understand that these platforms are controlled by the intelligence community.
Yes, they are.
Mother Zuckerberg is no genius. None of these people are geniuses. They've been built up and there's someone behind them. These platforms were not to be used for how we're using it right now. And all you have to do
Facts.
is start talking about something intelligent, and all of a sudden the sound goes off. That's not coincidence. They really
No,
want
it's
to stop it. Back during the Cold War, it was called jamming. If someone tried to get a message to the former communist countries, the Russians would jam the signal so people can't hear what's being said. The problem is our folks, and I'm going to just say this, black folks, we've been trifling. They really think if they plunk their money down and they get the app, that they're just going to let us talk to one another. What was one of the black codes for slaves? That not more than two or three could talk to each other at any given time.
couldn't gather, couldn't assemble, couldn't even go to
Right.
church.
Right. You needed a white person there to sit over to make certain that we didn't communicate with each other. Why would that change now? Because there are computers? Because there's an Ethernet? because they're
Yes.
routers, because they're cell phone towers, all of a sudden we can get together and be together? Are you kidding me? So they can take what we're sharing lightly. Oh man, everybody's saying the same thing. Well, then damn it, then shut up. You don't complain. In fact, if everyone's saying the same thing, you would run out of breath to fight everybody. So
Facts.
obviously, we're saying something that everybody isn't saying. And my
Facts.
point again, we we are in a situation wherein we're going to have to decide, those of us that want to survive, of banding with those people who get it and those that don't get it. Well, I think I shared with you, I've seen people die from some of the medication passed around. I went to see my doctor Friday, and immediately someone's trying to push, some medications to me. And I told them, you know what, dude, that shit doesn't work. Okay.
Right.
I'm anticipating a funeral for a family member that had the medication, right? So how are
Right.
you going to tell me the same week I lost someone to the medication that I should have some? Have you had it? I says, I know that they pay you to tell people to get it, and you can't speak against it, so you don't have a job, do you? So let's not do this, okay? And I says, now you tell me, sir, typically when you have a drug advertised on television, they give you about maybe 10 to 12 side effects. Well, now you're recommending something to me with at least 1,291 side effects. How the hell do you have a straight face to ask me to take something with so many things? That's what they were able to document that they were forced to give up. 1,291 side effects, and you'd offer it to me?
Mm.
So please just take my blood pressure and don't fuck with me in here. Now, and you know what happened? Let me just tell you. And that's another betrayal, how we've been lied to.
Yeah.
Obama, and then all these scares. I'm saying that so that they don't take your platform down. For all of y'all that need people to say shit blatantly, all the dumb, intellectually lazy people out there, this is the wrong platform, or either I'm the wrong speaker. You
Get it
know
right.
how to rap. They know how to rap a reefer when they want to. They knew how to disobey their parents. And they said, don't have sex till you get married. They knew how to hotwire cars. We know how to do everything we want to do. When we're speaking in code, damn it, decipher this shit. We're not going to let this little teeny tiny platform get shut down because, Negroes are really interesting. In fact, let me just give you a quick sideline. You know that Mao Zedong, the leader of the Chinese Communist Party, from the foundation of the Chinese Communist Party in the 1920s until he died September 9th, 1975.
Okay.
Yes, he did. He died the same day my dad did. My dad died later. 2011. Let me just say this to you, that part of what happened when Mao Zedong had his fallout with the Russians, they were trying to tell the Chinese how to fight other Chinese. And what they were telling them is that you guys need to use human waves. That's what large numbers of people with bodies try to overtake an enemy position. And the Chinese communists were losing lots of good people fighting the way that these Russians were telling them that they had to fight. And Mao had to tell them, hell no, we're not going to fight like you. We're not going to lose all these lives to attain that. The human wave is where you're out in the open where everybody can see you and they can kill you. A lot of fake black people who've never fought or stood up for anything, the same people say, why are y'all self-centered? Because damn it, you've never been out here. You've never risked anything. 99.9% of black people are fence riders. That's why
Facts.
we don't get anywhere. And so I
Facts.
don't even care about the criticism of people who've never risked anything, who've never lost a job, never lost friends or associates or families over principle of what was right and wrong. Because some of us have done it. You've been in court, my brother. My
Yes, sir.
cousin Matthew Fogg was in court. I know a lot of people have laid everything down to fight for what was right as black folks, and usually by themselves. I was talking to Brother Abraham Bolden, the man who was Robert Kennedy Sr.'s bodyguard, who's been through hell and back. He's almost 89 in January, alone, with nobody helping you typically, huh? Somebody say, all right. So the people that risk take it by themselves. What Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and for that matter, Medgar Evers, what do they all have in common aside from being shot? They died broke.
Facts.
They didn't have a lot. They gave up everything. Hell, we don't have to go back to Jesus and the disciples. There are people that have lived contemporary to some of our lives who gave up everything because they had a dream of things being better for Black folk in America. And most of the time, folks sat back and watched them lose everything. I believe the King children would have been better off if their father lived at least another 5-6 years.
Mm.
I believe Malcolm X's kids would have been better off had they lived another 10 years so the kids be able to develop. I meet and see every now and then Black folks who are descendants of families that sacrificed during the civil rights movement, and their families are in shambles. They lost everything thinking that Black folk would come along and move forward. They shook the trees, and the Jesse Jackasses and the others made the applesauce and got the credit.
Facts.
So when people criticize, hell, some of us don't get stuff. They mess with our transmission because, one, we don't want to talk about celebrities. We could, but the pushing celebrities is part of mind control. When folks think that, what's her name, that they think of Jada Pinkett is the Betty Shabazz or the Ida B. Wells of the generation. No, she's not. She's a bald-headed buffoon that needs to get an ergonomic wig and shut her damn mouth before she hurts other people, in particular, misguide our confused young Black women and not so young Black women. I just said it. So what's my point? So we can get into our stuff. We're going to speak in code.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand why, that's your problem. You know who else speaks in code? Go online. The white supremacists who are in the majority speak in code. They've got the police, the numbers, and the guns. And they speak in code. Isn't that amazing? The person with the on-field advantage believes in being stealth. In fact, the old Black folk used to know how to keep secrets. They used to know how to do stuff. But you know, it's like these people, this social media attention whore generations, because some of the people are boomers doing it, need for everybody to see what's going on in their life.
Attention whores.
How can you have such a dedicated, committed, intergenerational, half of a millennial enemy that pays attention to everything you do almost as much as if you're in Gaza? How do you empower yourself showing someone that says they hate you, letting them know everything intimate about you, and yet, just as sure as I got a wonderful communication today through Ancestry.com from one of my DNA matches, and the family name, if you're in the state of Maryland, and Anne Arundel County, City of Baltimore, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Baltimore County, Howard County, and you've heard the name Gassaway, and that's your family, you and I are in the same group of people going all the way back to 1650 something. Well, this person reached out to me to say, they didn't even tell me. I saw their name and I was trying to think, so I figured out, let me put this odd name out, and guess what? Ding, 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 ding. They were a descendant of the Gassaway family.
Wow.
Now, those are the kinds of things we need to share. If you go online, you try to talk to Black folk, they don't want to let you, they do a DNA test and don't want to know who their people are. What did you get it for and then put it up where people can contact you. Then you won't talk to the people that you are related. Do you realize how insane that is? I mean, I don't want to know my people. Yet these same people sometimes will have hieroglyphic names from Egypt, and so you're talking about some match. They've got like an Akan name, a Swahili name, and an Arab name. They have three different names from three different cultures, and think that that makes sense. You're like a person that's got a multiple personality disorder. You haven't picked two names from the same ethnic group because you don't know anything about the names that you pick. Well, I like this name. I like that name. Right? It's dumb. So we should share with people good things, lineage,
Right.
history,
Yes.
recipes,
Yes.
right? Self-defense, investment, gardening, proper dress, manners, history, algebra. There's so much we could share other than to put our body parts and our members up on television. That's not doing nothing. That's not our ancestors. When you think about the fact that when we were enslaved and folks were sold, that they would strip people and they forced people to show their body parts. In fact, the men had to show the genitalia to the white male. Sometimes people come and touch you on the penis. Study how big it is. Oh, yeah, he'll be a great breeder. And we've gone from that to ghetto gaggers.
Family, if you just tuned in, you're listening live to a special edition on this Saturday, the 28th of October, with Randy Short, Dr. Short. We're just having a discussion about the current events and just having a discussion. But keep on going, Dr. Short. You're on fire right now. I'm listening. We're taking it all in, brother. Keep on talking.
Well, we're just going there because we're looking at a situation where war is at our door now.
Yes.
People need to understand that we had over 20 million people in this country illegally prior to Biden becoming president.
Okay.
And now, in fact, the number I've heard as much as 28 million people in this country illegally. 28 million, as many as.
Okay.
And the low number, 12, and as high as 28. So it's like 20. And then you added 6 on top of that. That's 25 million people who didn't come in at the top of the employment or economic order. So they've got to get help from somewhere. They've got to get money and jobs and housing from somewhere. If they don't have the money, and if they come in here broke, who's going to have to split resources with them? You already know they're going to take it from us. I'm going to just tell you, I noticed this way back, and it hurt me so, but there was no one to go to. There was nowhere to cry. I remember being admitted to one of the universities back in 1992, and I recall there used to be a place for Black students to gather at this university, no place else.
Okay.
So I go to the Black House, and when I get there, the Black House has 2 names. It has the Black name and it has a Latino name. Instead of giving the Latinos their own space, they basically cut in half what Black people had for decades to give half of it to them. And let me tell you something about our traitor boomers and our despicable fuck nigger leadership. This is what I've noticed, and it's so disgusting. Everywhere I go and I see this so-called people of crap coalition, I meet the most radical, aggressive, nationalistic Spanish speakers.
Yes, we
who know what they want and they mean what they say and say what they mean, what they say what they mean and mean what they say. They're there to get every solitary thing that they can get solely for Spanish speaking people, and I'm not mad at them.
No.
But hold on, don't let me, I gotta finish this, please. And yet the black folks, what they do is they get the weakest, sappiest, sorriest, sucker uppermosters, Greek letter types, weak Negroes who just want to get along with everybody. And you know what happens with them? They're the ones that have all the access. And you know what they do? Anybody black that's remotely concerned about black people is attacked by the black folks who don't really want to fight or struggle. In fact, those folks are there to do every imaginable thing to help the Spanish speakers and ignore the black folks and attack anyone black that says, "What about us?"
Yeah.
Huh? And you know what? And the answer to how they suit what they do is they may do what, Juneteenth, or they may do some black holiday thing, or Kwanzaa, or they do some Greek letter stuff, and that covers black people. We did some boule shit. Now shut up. However, the Spanish speaking folks are talking about immigration, legal education. They're talking about the whole, I mean, they have serious movement stuff. If you're black and you dare do that, you get attacked by
That's
them.
true.
But you know what? You can talk about gayness. You can talk about intersectionality, working with everyone, helping immigrants, but you cannot help black
Yeah.
people. If people start looking at you like you're crazy, and this has happened everywhere I went to university, anyone that cared about black people was cast as crazy, as militant, as racist, even though the foreigners, the Arabs, the Latin, all didn't give a damn about black folks. There were black people that fell all over themselves to be around people from other cultures that used them.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that they all hated were the black folks who wanted to fight the good fight for black people. Go ahead
Yeah.
and speak.
No. You are 1000% right. I see it often. I engage it. I've seen it when I was patrolling, policing. They are, look here, these immigrants are about resources for them, and they will attach themselves to our struggle, our cause, just to get their resources. Again, what was the conversation we had earlier today? That whole maybe that whole George Floyd piece that they did, and black people got nothing out of that George Floyd death. Nothing.
But you know who
Every
got something? The
what's that?
Palestinians who own Cup Foods, who do business with the Bloods and Crips and involved in all kinds of organized crime. They got all kinds of things off of Floyd George's death. They did. Now you can hear the Islamic prayers on Fridays in Minnesota because of
Mhm.
Floyd George. There's nothing. In fact, at least the lowball number, I'm going to give a lowball number, a minimum of 8 people have been shot and or killed in the same location as George Floyd, and you don't hear about it. In fact, there were people who know that the people who own Cup Foods would beat folk with pistols and such, and that even people who may even be aligned with Hamas meet in the basement of Cup Foods. And people knew because I put it out there, and folks refused to pursue it. So, in other words, in fact, Black Lives Matter, they're all full of shit. They are. And I think I sent you that little thing. There's a very strong possibility. there's a probability that one of the founders of Black Lives Matter is a second cousin of mine, second or third, meaning that my grandmother would be their first cousin, and
Okay.
my my which means my great grandmother, great grandmother, would be her aunt. Oh my God! You realize how crazy that is?
We all have some traitors in the family. We all have some traitors, trust me.
Yeah, and so we've got trash all amongst us, scammers all amongst us, but that's a real problem. We're off code and we're out of order.
Yes.
And trust me, you only need to see a little bit of order for things to change. As I always tell you this story, there was a $7 million campaign to promote the legalization of prostitution, sexual sales, brothel owning, and so forth in DC. And a handful of us stood up and defeated them. And we didn't have 7 million. We didn't have $700. But they saw some organization. They saw some people that were going to fight. They saw a handful of people that were not going to give in. You don't have to like or respect Hamas as an organization. You don't have to agree with how they do stuff, why they do stuff. But what I have to say of these people that did this thing that created that,
right,
their group has been catching hell since the 1880s. So let's round it out basically about 1882. So what is that, 20, 100? Woo! Wait a minute. So, oh my God. It's almost 150 years worth of abuse from these people that have been coming into where they lived. And now somebody's done this. I don't have to like how they did it. What?
It's 100. 1980 will be 100. You're talking about maybe 150 years.
It's about 150 years of abuse.
Yeah.
And these folks have been occupied since 1972, since 51 years, and actually 67. So let's just round it out. 56 years of abuse. 56 years of abuse. And and then we can go back to 48, which means it's 75 years of direct abuse since the creation of the state of Israel. And then there was stuff going on before. Are you getting me? It's almost 150 years. I'm not against the state of Israel. I'm not taking sides. I'm only saying that a handful of people have shook the whole world. You don't have to like what they stand for. You don't have to like what they did. But a handful of people said, we're going to fight. We're not going to take this no more. Whatever's motivating them, whether it's good or bad. Okay. See, I'm not trying to make people who fight against injustice bad. And I'm not trying to make the tactics that they've chosen righteous.
Right.
I'm just saying that somebody got tired. Somebody said, well, I don't have anything to lose. Let me just go ahead and do what I'm going to do, right? And the whole world is rocking. And not only is the whole world rocking, a lot of people that never thought that they had it in them.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God. We never thought they would just like say, come what may, we're going to get out. Our people, if they get anything from that stuff in Gaza, I'm not saying repeat methods. I'm not saying that we have the exact same situation, but we should have the same resolve for a righteous reason that we're not going to just be messed over anymore, come what may.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And what I have to say is, my God, they, have you ever been in a neighborhood and there was a dog that kids would walk to the school and people keep messing with that dog and they figure that that dog will never get on the other side of the fence. That dog will always be caged up. We can come and spit on the dog. We can piss where the dog is. We just, and that dog is just in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen or heard? Come on, policeman.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Yeah.
about a dog breaking a chain and people
Yes.
were shocked that the dog popped the chain and the dog says, "Oh, you thought that this chain would hold me." And yes, I'm supposed to be in the yard, so you thought, but you messed with me one time too
Too many
much. I'm
times.
so pissed. I'm going to pop the chain and your ass is mine until they put me to sleep or they shoot me. You've bothered me. Now I bother you. The people who bother us as a collective are bullies. All you have to do is watch YouTube, and every now and then there'll be a situation wherein someone is unnecessarily aggressive with a person that is foundational Black American.
Yes.
And that person will say to them, "Hey, look, why not stop?" And that person who perceives correctly, we outnumber you, we have more guns, we've always messed over you, I'm messing over you, so what, you won't stop me. And when that person gets the shit kicked out of them, a lot of times they're in shock because they've been conditioned by us
Yes.
to think that there would be no payback for messing over someone, that this just nothing could happen to me in the wrong. Do you realize if the more people go into the stores and shoplift and smash and grab, the more people that do it? Let there be a day in the near future, I can see it coming, where a person has a shotgun in their store or a street sweeper, and a group comes in and storms in the store, and that person shoots about 10, 15 people with the street sweeper.
Mm.
Do you realize how few people will break in stores after that? Realize certain people say, "Oh my God, remember folks used to get robbed all the time on the subway?" They would just bother people until a racist Jewish man named Bernard Getz shot a bunch of young Black men on the subway. And that really tapped down on folks bothering people because you didn't know who might have a gun that may just shoot you in front of everybody. Are you following me?
I'm following
I'm
you.
I'm never advocating that people do these things, but I want to say this to you. Deterrence is a better part of discretion, that people know not to even try it. You know, part of why we're in the situation that we're in is that nobody wants, let me clarify. Black success has meant white acceptance at any price. Black success means white acceptance at any price. And therefore, no one who wants to make it in white America ever says or does anything that could cost them white acceptance. Even if
Fact.
it's warranted, even if it's warranted, even if it's human, makes every sense to be that way, will not do it. Now, let me just say something to you so you can hear me. Within the last few days, I think someone who's running for president sent out feelers that they wanted to talk to people in the Black community. You know this story already.
Yes.
And I said, okay, we can talk to them. And someone from that white candidacy, instead of contacting me, they decided to do what white folks do, which is be in control and determine and run things. It's their nature. And what they did was they went to one of my Instagram pages and they saw something they didn't like. I had something criticizing drag queens in schools. for kids, and they decided that they weren't comfortable knowing me. And me being opposed to drag queens around kids, some of them sex offenders, that offends you. And instead of contacting me, which they could have certainly done, they went back to the Black woman, telling her how uncomfortable they were, and you don't know how he is, this, that, and the other. And thank God this sister wasn't a pork chop feminist, not a traitor Black woman. The kind of say, what did you do to make him mad? And they don't like you, and I don't want this. So she reached out to me, and I said, sister, I barely use that page, but show me what's on there. And so she sent me a bunch of things that were videos, and I'm looking at this saying, and she says, I don't see what's so wrong with what you did. I said to her, you know what? Your guy is gay. He's a radical sodomite. And he thinks I'm going to suck his dick to be on the same team as him. I told her, I don't want him. I don't want to have anything to do with him. How about that? I don't like him. I don't want to like him. In fact, I don't want to have anything to do with him. I have to kiss his ass. I'm an adult. I can't do this anymore. I'm an old man. I'm tired of us having to please them. He doesn't have anything to offer me. No money, and he brings this garbage with him. So you know what? Let's go and look at his page. Let's go look at his Instagram. Since my Instagram is so bad.
Right.
When you go to his page, there's a picture of him showering with his ass exposed. And he's slobbering on men and in the bathtub with men and nude in the bathtub and rainbows and stuff everywhere. And I said to the lady, you said your candidate's a Christian, and this is a person that we have to go to? Are you kidding me? I got to go to do this flaunting his boyfriend, and he's waking up in bed with a man, and yet you're going to, how am I going to advertise that to church-going colored folk? What would they think of me? Not him, me. I know a lot of folk who would say, oh, well, this is an opportunity. Let's just work with him. Let's reassure him. I told him I'm not reassuring him anything other than I can tell him to go to hell. Fuck him. And since you want me to call him, give me his number, because I'll go for him. I don't care. I says, let me tell you something. This gentleman, he's the reason your candidate's not getting anywhere. So do you realize if someone running against them gets his pictures and puts that out, they can sink her campaign? How are you going to call yourself a Christian and you have a man, he's not some quiet gay dude with a husband. You got a dude out there literally advertising his body. I mean, if he'll do that on Instagram, what will he do? What kind of parties has he gone to with Ed Buck?
Facts. Facts.
But you know, there are people who would run after them and say, oh, well, let's work it out. Well, I don't think we understand each other. No. We need to not be understood by people that hate us. Don't understand me. Leave me the hell alone. See, part of how you get violated is you give space to people that don't like you, people that don't respect you, people that don't honor you. Do you realize if I was in fact, the lady told him, if I was an Orthodox Jew, we would have ripped that man for having that page up. It would have gone all over just seeing it. Not, to each his own, right? I says his own culture is 100%, 1,000,000% more intolerant than anything I've ever been. In fact, I told him before, I says his website, I'm certain his Instagram page is worse than mine, 100 times over. I assure you, before I see it, he's nastier than anything I could think of. Because we went all the way through my entire, I had pictures of pumpkins and goats and friends and landscapes. And there were a couple of political posters. I attacked Stacey Abrams, of which I am proud. I attacked Barack Obama, of which I'm exceedingly proud. I attacked Kamala Harris. In fact, why is Kamala Harris jealous of centipedes?
I have no idea.
They've got more legs.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'll give you one more anti-Kamala joke. I can't stand Kamala Harris. Scooby. All right, now look.
Well, Doc, well, you know
Well,
what?
hold on. Let me do one more joke here, please.
Go ahead, Doc.
What's something that Kamala Harris's ass can't do that the moon does maybe once a year?
I have no idea.
Have an eclipse. See, it's flat. See, you have to have brown to have an eclipse. See?
Doc, since you're talking on these, some of our ladies in leadership, could you expound on some of the betrayal that we're seeing among some of our women that's out here?
Oh, boy.
Reflective?
You know, it's so fascinating that you are bringing this up. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you. Do you think if I sent you a picture, can you share this with your audience, or do we have to do this another time? If I sent you a picture,
what I would do is I would send it to my phone, and I would show it from my phone.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture of this book. I just got it. And I got this book with sisters in mind. I got this book because we're not taught things properly. And as a result, we don't get certain stuff. And one of my favorite topics and what I'm working on, and that's what I'll be doing with the Angry Black Men's Book Club. And let's do a commercial break. How many people watching this right now? They need to retweet this room. How many people watching?
I don't have the numbers right now, Doc. I see.
Hold on,
I don't have the numbers on right now. What I can do
hold
a commercial break.
No. I can see right now. Let me tell you how many people are looking. In fact, do people have any questions before we go forward? Because we're going to start really getting heavy. We're going to take like another few minutes. And then let me see. All right. Let me go to your website. Okay, you have 7 people. All right. We've got 8 people watching. We've got 9 likes. I want everybody to retweet this because we're going to have a little bit of fun. And then, I got maybe another few minutes with our brother here. Okay, now we got 10 likes. Now retweet this. And I want to remind everybody that we have to help one another. Oh, look at Claude Nobles. How you doing? Hi, Brother Mark. Hi, Maria Santos. Oh, my God. Hey, how are you, Brother Dome? How is everybody? Crystal Jones, hi. Let me see who else is on here. And everybody, I know y'all can do one other thing. Share this channel. This brother has 58 followers. We need him to get to his first 100. He needs 42 people to join this platform because Brother Juan is an expert on guns, law enforcement, criminal recidivism. I said recidivism because that's how we pronounce it in DC. It's actually recidivism, but we don't like the V. So I say recidivism because if I remember talking to someone about recidivism, they didn't know what the hell it's talking about. I said recidivism. Oh yeah, that's terrible. So you can't say recidivism or they get mad. Nigga, you trying to talk over me. Don't you talk over me. So I was thinking, what am I doing wrong? A lot of our people are sensitive about stuff. Come on, brother. No, Juan, you hear me? I was talking about criminal recidivism. And that nigga kept looking at me. What? What? Like I called him a bitch or something. What'd you say? Recidiv what? And then I said, oh, that says recidivism. Oh, yeah, recidivism. Yeah, that's bad. I'm not a recidivist. And I learned sometimes don't say it right. Not in DC. Do not pronounce things properly. If people say it wrong or you're going to get your ass beat. Man, he said I was a criminal recidivist. Well, no, what's that this about? This sound like some BD shit. No, nigga, you'll get beat down right here. All of a sudden, you almost get, your head knocked in. And I just sent you the book. You'll have it. Okay, it's called The Resistance versus Vichy. It's a book by Peter Novick. There's a whole type of literature that our nigger preachers and other people don't share with us. And I always advise people, don't just read what your Black conscious community people, they only give you celebration. Oh, look, we had pyramids. Oh, look, we had heterosexual sex in antiquity. Black men and Black women were having sex with each other. I mean, that's no surprise.
I am sharing a book right now you just sent to me. It's
The
opposite.
Resistance versus Vichy by Peter Novick. It means the purge of collaborators in liberated France. The reason I got this book specifically, I've specifically got it for sisters. I got it for Black women because we haven't had stuff modeled or taught to us like we need to be taught. And the reason I brought this up is very important because when the French lost to the Germans in World War II,
Okay.
when it ended, let me just make it out to you. The French women decided that they did not need French men because the German men were tall and pretty and they had more money. And they began to sell out. The French men, like, well, y'all, since y'all were defeated, you're nobody, which is the way a lot of our Black women, they see Black men as defeated instead of real helpers, real warrior sisters help a man stand up.
Facts.
In fact, the Black men have to become the new Harriet Tubmans. What I mean by that is this. We always praise Harriet Tubman for pulling a gun on a Black man that wasn't willing to be free.
Right.
And that's evidence of what a strong woman she was. And I agree with that. But in this day, when the women don't want to be free, we men are going to have to pull guns on their asses. Stop begging us. The women are wrong in France. As much as you think of Frenchmen as having pocketbooks and being effeminate, those romantic Frenchmen, they checked the French women. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. The women that messed up got picked up. In fact, I'm going to send you some pictures of some sellout French women who were screwing the German soldiers and snitching on their brothers and saying, well, it's my body and all this other kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And I do what I want. It's my body, my choice. They did all that stuff. It was their body, their choice to sleep with the Germans that had mass incarcerated the Frenchmen. Oh, yes, they did. And when the tide changed against the German men that they had whored with, hung out with, had swirled with, oh, yes, it wasn't cool. Those women caught hell. See, I blame Black men for not having a standard on Black women.
Okay.
Women will never be higher than what men expect them to be.
Facts.
Vice versa, men will never be higher than what women demand that they be. If the Black man, all he does is try to get in the woman's drawers without demanding that she know how to cook, be a mama, be clean, be a good human being, then he lowers her. The man that needs the woman to have tattoos on her eyeballs. See, it's not. These people punished the French women that sided against the French men, became enemies of the state. In some instances, people just lashed out at them. They couldn't keep people from coming after them. They shaved their heads bald, just like Jada Smith has her bald head. She may as well have a bald head. She's a collaborator.
Right.
They would make the women march in the street naked. They would give them bone haircuts. These women they would shame the women. They would have what's called ugly carnivals.
Mm.
Ugly carnivals. To punish the women for not being on the side of the men.
Doc, let me ask you a question because again, it seemed like when the men had more, well, when we had more men in these political spaces and places, they appear to be doing more for the community. But we got more sisters in these spaces, and we're not seeing the same benefits. We're not seeing the same resources being distributed. We got them in places.
You'll never see it. You had women in power and government before now. You had women. You had queens. Queen of England's a politician.
I'm talking about the 20th century.
No. My point is, what the feminists will argue is that women never had power. It's a goddamn lie. And whatever age, women in ancient Egypt had power. Women had power a lot. What do women do when they get power? They tend to look out for themselves.
Mm.
Look, let me give you an example of how women are. And I don't care who doesn't like it, female listening. I don't give a damn. When we first started having children get killed and some of us got involved, right?
Right.
What would happen is that I know what it's like to say, hey, look, there are 2 children that have been shot in this city. Ma'am, could you partner with another woman whose child's been shot so we can concentrate our efforts on fighting against this? And you know what? The woman would say, what about my child? We never said leave your child out. We were saying we would have more power, more ability if the greater number of people we had consolidated in one effort.
Right.
But all she could see is my child not being foremost. I don't care about other people's kids being killed. I only care about mine. I don't want to help anybody else's child but mine. And you are against me if you don't put my child first. And I will not work with you since you think my child is like every other dead child, which we certainly didn't say. By the way, none of them paying a penny. None of them gave a dime. None of them had anything, right?
Right.
But yet and still, they were going to tell us how we could help them and what was necessary. We won't support you. I'm about to start sending you pictures. You're going to have to turn your phone sideways for the first one. I don't want to have anything to do with anyone that's not going to put my child first.
Right.
If it's not about my child, don't bother me. It's my baby. I'm the one that's lost somebody.
Mm.
Look at how the French folks dealt with. They didn't say, oh, she's fine. She's got a big ass. I see why the Germans wanted to get with her. They didn't make those excuses. France was at war. We got destroyed. They put us in concentration camps. They were shooting, mass killing people. And you're out dating, sucking on the German dick like it's a sausage for their sauerkraut. You're acting against the freedom of your own people. You're talking to men. In fact, you know, the Germans under the German occupation had a rule that if you hurt even one German soldier, they might kill 100 people for every German hurt. So imagine if she's got a German boyfriend and somebody in the resistance had a fight, right?
Right.
And they killed someone, then the Germans would randomly take 100 people and shoot them. These women were still able to get in bed with these guys, and that's still their boyfriend. Because that's how I'm sorry, ladies, a lot of you are selfish and you don't see the big picture. You get caught up in your individual life and what suits you, and you get trapped in your feelings. And in fact, a lot of you have raised men that are bitches that are in their feelings. And so there's no reason, there's no logic. You need emotion. You need intuition of women. You need it. It's essential. But everything can't work off of feeling and intuition. Some of it does, some of it doesn't. There is a place in France called Suaglaise. Suaglaise. And let me find it. Where the Germans got mad because somebody got killed. And they burnt up all the people in churches and mowed down and killed the folks. And so the Germans did massacres all over France. So you have these women, well, my boyfriend, he's German. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He's a good man. He's good to me. He wouldn't be in a firing squad to kill Frenchmen, even though that's his order from a superior officer. Well, my feelings, my heart says, my relationship, he's so good in bed. He's not killing my people. I don't care. And you can't bring me pictures or eyewitnesses to tell me anything about my man.
Like I'm showing the pictures of
Yeah.
the hair being shaved off the women.
Yes. And I'm going to send you, it's Oradala Glees. Let me put this thing. Well, the Germans went through and just killed everybody. And there were French women sleeping with these German dudes.
Mm-hmm.
That was their boyfriend. He was nice. He was doing really nice things. They did the same thing with the drug dealers. He's doing really nice things for me. If he's poisoning the whole neighborhood, so what?
Again, this is a picture with a swastika on the forehead.
Yes, it's called Orador Saglan. I'm about to send you the article. It's in the middle of France. And the Germans just slaughtered. They just killed everybody. Men, women, children. They just killed everybody they could. And yet they had French girlfriends.
Right.
Women who could justify. Orador Saglan. I'm going to get some images. And they just destroyed the whole, burnt the church, killed everybody. The only people that survived happened to be in a place where they couldn't be mass killed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a memorial now in France to what the Germans did. But there were women that could screw men. Let me send you a picture of this Orador. I'm going to show you just a little. And this is now where they just set the whole town on fire. They just killed everybody to say the white German power. There it is. Look, they just imagine there were dead people. They didn't even bury them. They took whole families and put them in the Catholic Church and set it on fire to kill everybody. And yet there were women who said, well, they're good to me. I don't see what you're talking about. Y'all just haters. And you Frenchmen, y'all lost. Since you got defeated, you don't have the right to expect anything. This is the attitude of many black women. They see black men down and they kick them when they're down. Figure, well, since black men aren't in charge, y'all not running nothing. I don't have to respect you. I want to make this plain to you, black women that are listening. All the other women and other ethnic groups look down on you and hate you for disloyalty. They see you as stupid and suckers. They do. If you've ever had a conversation, if you start looking at this passport brother stuff, not that I think every passport, all this stuff is legit, but these other women get a chance to watch the videos and stuff that we stupidly post about how we think and feel about each other. And you don't have, the Palestinians right now are completely beat down. You will never find a Palestinian woman trashing Palestinian men anywhere on the internet. They don't
Say
have
it
food.
again.
You don't have Palestinian women trashing Palestinian men on the internet. The Palestinians lack food, water, shelter, electrical power, regular jobs, that because the women understand that there's a war against them as a people. Black women are somewhere in fucking Disney World because of affirmative action and other things. Thank God affirmative action is gone. Because they systematically use social engineering, as the Nazis did. Under the German occupation in France, they elevated the women, the French women, above the French men as a means to destroy the French people. See, stupid ass people like, what's it, Gada Pinkett Smith. A lot of women think that being out of order and being in charge is an upgrade. It's not. It's a downgrade. If you're not eligible, you're not supposed to be doing something, you do it, it's bad for someone and not just yourself. So the Germans elevated the French women above the French men as a means to further humiliate and destroy the
Mm.
French people. And even women, when the Free French came back, the women that had sold out, I'm not trying to be funny, and black women, it's coming. These women would sometimes get women in soccer punch and beat them. You whore, you betrayed us, you snitched on my brother. And you're seeing the picture of the women with their head shaved. You need to understand that a lot of the women that betrayed their people were lynched. That's
Doc,
right. The French lynched French women that betrayed France. People couldn't even help them. People that tried say, hey, look, she's a woman. She was just, she had no choice. Says, you want some too? We'll shoot your ass and we'll still get her. Either you get some too or you shut up. And a lot of people had to just say, hey, I wish you had made a better choice when we were occupied. We're warning people now because tough times are coming, people. Tough, tough,
Doc,
tough, tough, tough times are
sis,
coming.
you are 100% right. And I don't know if our women know that they're becoming the face of this thing. I mean, they're becoming the face of
No, they're not
inappropriate.
becoming. They are. That dumbass
Yeah.
black woman in the United Nations, who I know, black women have become the face of America out of order. They become basically a subset of the ugly white American male.
Mm.
There's a person that you're not seeing who's a part and parcel of the bullshit going on. There's a Jamaican American named Susan Rice who has a white husband who's Jewish. Susan Rice and this Greenfield woman at the United Nations and Condoleezza Rice, they're three. And since black women made this Indian whore black, y'all gonna pay for her crimes. People in Africa hate Condoleezza Rice. They also, no, not Condoleezza Rice. What's this thing? Kamala Harris trying to push LGBTQ. Black women have become the face of American imperialism, degeneracy, and abuse. And we're trying to warn you, stop it. You know what? In other communities, like these pictures we showing of the French, do you realize in other cultures, as much as people bitch about domestic violence and how oppressed women are, in other cultures, men don't ask. In other
Right.
cultures, men get physical with women, they beat their asses, they make them do it. Period.
Right.
So for all the people that are going to bitch about misogyny, you don't know what the hell misogyny is. When I tell you, I know someone whose father was a Murray Baraka, the great poet from Newark, New Jersey. He had a disagreement with his wife in a marketplace in Nigeria. This man disgustingly beat his wife publicly in front of people. Nobody stopped because in other cultures, knocking a woman around, even in public, isn't seen as all that, as awful. Listen to that. It's seen as terrible in the Black American community for a man to knock a woman around, even if the
Right.
woman swung first. In other cultures, a woman talking to a man the wrong way, it's justifiable for the man to knock her ass out. I've seen and been in so many situations where someone has mouthed off at me. Were this in any other group, that woman would have gotten knocked out and there would have been no discussion. Where all this nobody can touch you shit comes from white supremacy. But what's interesting, as they say you can't even say anything back to a woman, didn't they execute the pregnant woman in Columbus, Ohio? Didn't they kill Sandra Bland? They kill black women every day. They rape black women in prison. You don't even hear about it. It's white male guards, white female guards. It's when they hurt you, it's not even discussed. You don't have any feminist allies. You don't have any intersectionalists when that happens. When that black girl got the shit kicked out of her in the Wendy's or wherever it was, the McDonald's, I'm sorry, by the Latino woman, where were the Latinas? When the girl in Chicago got her nose cut off by the Latino women on Mexican Independence Day, where are the Latinas? The only time that all this black girl magic or black girl tragic shit exists is when it's used to undermine the cooperation between black men and black women. The only power you have that they'll let you have is to abort babies, to be a stud, to break up a marriage, to cheat in child support, to attack the black man or to attack another black woman, or to be the face of degeneracy. That's the power that you guys have. And you don't even realize that they're laughing at you. You know, I remember being in New England, brother, listening to some white folks tell a black woman who was fat how pretty she was, and they didn't hear. They were laughing. Oh, let's get. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so strong. And they're laughing. God, she's a pig. She's an orca, right? And a black woman saying, "No one black appreciates me." I'm thinking, oh God. Our sisters need to wake up that a massive head game is being played, and it's the same way the black woman went to the pharmacy to get a prescription, and that white pharmacist gave them an abortion pill to kill the baby. And 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 our sisters forget that tens of thousands of black women were sterilized by grinning white folks, and sometimes by grinning black women and the AKA sorority. Black women are under attack. When black women get killed in childbirth, where are the white women organizations? Where's the National Organization of Women? Do people know that it's a black woman that effectively created the National Organization of Women? I mean, we can't get nothing for that. Do they recognize that it's black women that put feminism and women's rights on the platform of the Democratic Party, and yet black women can't get shit? And yet these women that pass you by, that ignore you, that vote for presidential and senatorial and representative officers or persons who are against black people, white women do not vote in alignment with black women. Yet they vote in alignment with white men, and black women vote against black men. And back to this thing, treason is treason, sisters. Ultimately, even if nobody punishes you in the black community, you will be punished by other people. They bring all these Arabs and bring over all these other people who have a whole different concept of loyalty and what's to be expected of a woman. We got women that don't cook, don't clean, don't screw, don't mother, and feel that the man should pamper them. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world. This idea that men are women's slaves in exchange for modicum of sexual privileges is bullshit. Maybe a fat, greasy, no good preacher or some conscious community idiot who's getting over on you will tell you this. But in reality, it ain't so, sisters. And I'm not saying it's everybody. They are righteous sisters. We love them. We love you, righteous sisters. But the rogue, no good, loudmouth, the Karen Bass, and what's this bro? Sheila Jackass Lee, and all these other people. Judgment's coming. And then a lot of these folks aren't even real black American women. They're tethers. And black women are so into, well, I'm just going to back any woman no matter what. What's Tyrese's wife? She leaves him because her little stud friends are telling her to hate her husband. Brother Juan, can I come in your house and tell you to be against the woman that you're making love to, how long would our friendship or associate, how long would I be conscious in your presence to say something bad against your woman to your face?
Very soon, immediately.
Exactly. So forgive me, dumbass black woman, where the fuck do you get off allowing women that are not paying some of the bills in the house that you're with, that are not the fathers of your children, that you let them come into your house and attack the man that you're with, that you took vows with? How do they get to do that? And if that's acceptable to you, should not you allow your man to have his friends come over and make fun of you if you're fat, if you've got varicose veins that look like you've got garden hose running up and down your leg, or you've got stretch marks that look like, you've got pizza crust coming through your skin? Should that be accepted? I'm certain you'd say no. See, we need some fairness in our community. And let me share something with you. Tell you something about Arab women, whether you like Arab women or not, or tell you something about Latino women, whether you like Latino women or not. In Algeria, when the men couldn't fight, the women did it. They talk about Ya Asantwa in Ghana. All you sisters, well, women were fighting the women. Yes, but what were the women fighting for? The women were fighting for the men who were no longer able to fight. Not that they were better than the men. They were the backup for the men who had fallen. Our women will emphasize, well, he fell down, well, he got shot. He's not God. Neither are you. Who told you all this stupid stuff? Where did this come from? It's not coming from us. So I'm just saying to you that this judgment, Arab women, Latino women, all the other women in every other group back up their men, good, bad, or indifferent. And by the way, our women back up the bad men, because the vast majority of no good black men have children. How many black men do I know with advanced degrees that are heterosexual that are childless? So they've chosen to procreate children with the sorriest ass men in our race have children. And the men that are productive, that are committed, will not have a legacy. Y'all have decided that black men who have something to offer the world shouldn't have a legacy because you're using your procreative fiat against good black men. So you'll have a baby for a nigga in prison. You have a baby for a nigga that's selling drugs, or for a baby that's got bastards everywhere. But for a righteous, upright nigga that wants a family unit, you wish him obscurity. Oh, yes, we need a Nuremberg for pork chop feminists. We need, and it's coming. And I'm going to say this to you: these mass shootings, mass kidnappings, like the little case down, I think somewhere in Texas or somewhere, there are 2 black boys and 2 black girls dead, and I really think it's some El Salvadorans and Mexicans that did it, and nobody knows nothing. More of this is going to happen. I'm going to tell you, you're going to wish. Who's pushing for the gun buybacks? Black Democratic leaders, many times black female community leaders who probably want to screw on the cops because they look good in the tight uniforms. But that doesn't mean anything.
And the preachers, they push it for it too.
These no good preachers and these so-called mental health people. And whenever whenever there was a crazy bitch in school, you know how you knew they were crazy? They always were psychology majors. Oh, I'm a psychologist. Oh shit, that's a crazy bitch. Right. I'm serious.
We got a question for you. Can you guys talk about? Can you mention the deacons of defense?
I didn't mention deacons for defense. They mentioned deacons for defense.
Okay. That was
I mentioned the book We Will Shoot Back. We Will Shoot Back is on Mississippi. The Deacons for Defense is in Louisiana. Okay. It really does matter what you say and what you mean.
Right.
Okay, so I never mentioned it. There is a book. In fact, that's why I have my Angry Black Men's book thing. In fact, I got some new books today. That's that Bishi book. I just got it today. I got a couple of books today. I got a book called Freedom's Detective on the white men who were hunting down the Ku Klux Klan after the Civil War as federal agents. The precursor to the FBI was shooting white racists that attacked black people, believe it or not. Don't tell me we can't have an anti-black crime bill, because they've had this kind of thing. It's been around since 1870. It could be enhanced, and it's already a federal law. So the Deacons for Defense is among many such groups. The book is called We. In fact, let me see if I can send you a link. I'm going to send you a picture of it right now. That way you can see it and you can share it with your audience. That's the book that I think we should go through. And the Deacons for Defense books, a lot of those books, go to Amazon, you're going to find out that they're super expensive. Things that talk about black folks defending themselves cost money. They don't like us thinking. The book is called We Will Shoot Back. Let me get the link to it. I have a copy somewhere.
I need you to subscribe to the platform you see is on right now. Like and share, or you can unlike it. You don't have to like it. You can unlike it. It's all about the algorithm. But like and share. Dr. Short, if you want to mention your cash app, you can, or how they can be a blessing to you.
Yeah, well, it's very easy. One, I've had a delay or two. I just had a lot of stuff going on, deaths, mama fell down, all kinds of craziness. But I have a channel on YouTube. Come hell or high water, I'm going to just do it Monday or tomorrow. I'm just tired of waiting. I'm not technologically savvy, but it's called the Angry Black Men's Book Club. I have an Angry Black Men's Book Club. I'll repeat again, Angry Black Men's Book Club website, Angry Black Men's Book Club Instagram, Angry Black Men's YouTube channel. And if you want to support what we're doing, and we're doing many things, we're trying to roll a couple of stuff out. And the less you have, the harder it is to do small things, believe it or not. But the first thing is, and I want to give a shout out to Brother Quentin. A lot of my interviews are on Let's Talk To on YouTube, Let's Talk To. And of course, my Cash App, which I appreciate, because that's what I mostly do, is send books out and basically function as one of the radical independent black bibliophiles. I just sent you the We Shall Shoot Back. Look for it, Brother Juan. I'm going to send you an image of the book. I sent you a Wikipedia thing. I'm about to send you the photo right now so you can get it's on armed black resistance. This is a book that everybody should have. You've been lied to about it. A lot of black folks were shooting in the 60s. It's very uncomfortable. There's another one called Negroes with Guns by Robert Williams. That's a lot of times I can't even keep up with the material. That's just a send me a donation. I saw this, bought it. At least I know where it is. I can make a reference to it. I can point something to somebody. Negro with Guns. Hold on. Negroes. I need to make it plural. Did you get it, Brother Juan? Share that. That's the book I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm sharing right now. We Will Shoot Back. I'm sharing that right now.
I have the Deacons with Defense book. I just don't know where I put it. When you get a lot, I got books to the walls. You know what I'm saying? Just to have them, because you just need to have them.
Right.
You need to have those kinds of things. So if someone asks you a question, you can show them. It's not my imagination. Negroes with Guns. Let me see. I'm going to send this to you right now. There's all kinds. Black folks and armed resistance is like apple pie. There is a book I think I need to check. I got a couple this week. And it talks about black people and guns before the Civil War, because black folks have always needed guns. And if you look at this book, We Will Shoot Back, it talks about all of the attacks that were being made on black folks and how they needed guns.
Yeah, that's why I do what I do, Doc, because again, it's almost like reintroducing back to the collective responsible gun ownership. Because again, I'm gonna keep saying this. I've seen it. I know it. The self-preservation switch has been deactivated in the Black community. When you got
especially
black,
by
when you got
especially
black,
by no good preachers. I
oh
know
yeah,
good preachers. I know good preachers. I know good preachers.
yeah,
Are no good preachers. I know good preachers. Oh, by the way, I didn't give my Cash App and I didn't give my Patreon. Oh my God. Because we're not just motivated by money. We're motivated to help people. My
right.
Cash App is Dr. Randy Short. Dr. Randy Short. Dr. with no period, Randy Short. That's my Patreon. And that is my Cash App, Dr. Randy Short. You can't lose if you don't use Cash App or Patreon. I also have a Zelle and a PayPal, which is wrandyshort@gmail.com. As well, you can email me, and I try to take serious questions. If you're fine and you're dark skinned, you can like make a personal appeal if you're a sister. But I don't want to do any hookups unless you got to be Christian, like under age 30. Slim. I'm just joking, but a lot of folks we call trying to do hookups and stuff. What is that about? This is why Black activists and preachers are no damn good. The minute you try to do something in the community, somebody wants to fuck you. Oh, look at Juan, he's standing up. Well, let's get him to lay down. He's a hoe. Well, everybody keeps trying to sleep with them. Somebody say, "Damn, all this pussy is tempting." Right? let me let me stop struggling for a minute and be trifling like the other Black people. Maybe it's cool not being free. I hadn't tried that, right?
So
Again,
Doc, right
ho, ho,
now,
ho, ho, ho. Patreon, Cash
well,
App, Dr. Randy Short, Dr. Randy Short, Zelle and PayPal, wrandyshort@gmail.com, wrandyshort@gmail.com. That's how you do that. Help us out. And I'm going to be doing more programming if this brother wants me. As we have an agreement, an informal agreement among a handful of us to help each other in our pursuits. My group, my fellowship is called Salvation and Liberation Temple, which is a Christian group. And my other group is called Backpack, which you can look up, BACPAC.info or com. It is our webpage for the Black American Constitutional Political Action Committee. And Brother Juan's going to be working with us and with other people that want to put safety in the hands of the people. I've been saying I'm for it. Juan's been helping me. I help Juan. And of course, that includes us work with Brother Quentin, and we're working with Chef C. One person has a farm. One person knows about self-protection. Let me see. Brother Quentin knows how to do everything. And he's just the kind of person, he reminds me of the guy in the movie Erasure, the guy that hits the guy in the head with the pipe when Vanessa Williams and them were trying to get in. He's quite a cool person. We help each other out. So y'all need to help a contingency of us. In particular, we're on the East Coast. There's new Black media on the West Coast. I love them. We need a more active new Black media on the East Coast, in particular in the Mid-Atlantic. We're underperforming.
right.
Help us out. We can do a hell of a lot more.
We can.
And we can do a hell of a lot more. We need your help. And if people wonder, what am I doing? A lot of what I do is incite people to do something, motivating people to do something. Brother Juan, his largest show on YouTube, and it's a crime, had 42 people. And I said, this is unacceptable. Let me check right now. I think now our goal, and we want everyone to retweet these shows and push this content out. His show that we did the other day is at least over 200 people. Is it over 200? Let me check and see how many people. How many people did he have? Look, because he's really saying something. He's not flinging his meat up there or having folks jiggle their butts in there. He's trying to get people to think. And he doesn't do any cussing for all the people that whine. Oh, Randy Short, he cusses so much. I wish he would stop cussing and just stick the gun. He has 218 people that looked at the video. Compare that to prior, the biggest number was 42 people. So I want to thank all of you. Retweet this show, retweet the show we did before, God, Guns, and Gun Buybacks with Sister Sean and myself, because this man needs, the same way Brother Quentin has 1,050 plus people, this man needs to, he has 59 subscribers. We need him to have 100 subscribers by next week. And the goal is for everybody to have 1,000 people so he can go live on YouTube whenever he wants to. And I don't just want this for me. You know, I was having a conversation with a dear friend of mine who worked with Martin Luther King, who nearly died a few months ago. We both had the same problem, a heart problem. And your heart will mess with you if you work with Black folks.
Yes, it will.
But you have his number, Brother Juan. And I need to get you, Brother Woman, to get with Brother Core. We're going to bring some people to this platform. I'm going to send you this brother's number because, you know, these utility companies steal from Black people, rip off from Black people, overcharge Black people. We could really have something. Do you realize if we get stuff moving in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philly area, it will spill over and help Black people all over the country because these are key cities in the Black history. DC, Baltimore, and Philly. And we've got to do something. Now, you're about to say something, and I talked over you. I'm sorry. And you know I've got to go and do a show with Brother Quentin before he gets angry. And when he gets mad, his head starts pointing. It'll look like a bullet if we don't hurry up and finish.
No, I think that me and Quentin will be on Tuesday. I was always talking to Chef C. We'll be on Thursday, 8 o'clock. 8 to 9.
And I need to get you Pastor Core's number. You need to have him on your platform because he's in Prince George's County. And I know this sister that I need you to have on your show. That I'm going to send you two people that you need to have on your platform. Davenport knows about guns. She likes guns. And I'm going to just send you some people. How about that? We're going to make certain that you become a power in the area. Okay. In fact, I want you to interview my mentor. In fact, that would be a good show for you to have my mentor who worked with Malcolm X. How do you like that?
Sounds good. We can make it happen. Let's do it.
Okay, so let me see. It's 9:42. Let's answer questions and try to wrap this up. This didn't go quite like I thought it would because I do want to help Brother Quentin. So I'm going to give this, until about 10:15. So what are the questions? What do we want to talk about?
Tonight?
I don't know. That people can ask questions or we can keep it rolling. I don't know. I just want this.
We can keep going. I mean,
Okay.
I had that one question in. We talked about the dignity defense. People are responding. I see Devin Haley's in the house. Let's Talk's in the house. Mark by Smith's in the house. Maria Santos, Claude Nobles. We got quite a few hitters up in here.
And Claude Nobles, hey, California. And I want to apologize to him. There are two sorry people in California that are related. I'm so sorry. I was told by my cousins that Governor Newsom is my cousin. And if this DNA test is correct, that no good whore, Couloris is my cousin. There are two sorry ass people in California making life miserable for Black people. Neither one of them wants to get reparations. And we can't do anything about bloodline. It's sort of like having diarrhea. What comes out, comes out. You just want some nice place to put it when it goes out.
Yeah, so we've had quite a few people. I see Crystal Jones is in the house.
Who's Crystal?
Crystal's a friend of mine. One of my buddies. We roll, we talk every now and then. She's watching tonight. She has a prayer. She has a prayer. She does prayer on Fridays.
Well, we need prayer.
Yes.
We definitely need prayer. Oh my God, we do.
Yeah, she's a prayer machine. I give her that.
Okay, well, we need prayer machines. And ask her to pray for the pork chop feminists and the simps that love them. We need to be delivered from pork chop feminism and simps. All these sex slaves. Sorry, Black men that think being a sucker and a chump to the genitalia is being a man. And, you know, I mean, God gave you that to prolong your lineage, not to be a salad shooter in the sluts. Excuse me, brothers. It's time for us to grow up. Oh my God, I have a penis. I'm king of the world. And you don't have any business, no economic power, no unity, no safety in the community. Please, God, help us. Wake our people up, man. Are you hearing me?
Well, as they say, we all hear collectively, but we receive individually. So, you know, we again, yes. But again, we're doing what we can, Doc. And I'm thankful that you came on board. Like I said, this is a special edition. I don't do this on Saturdays like this. I'm supposed to be somewhere else right now. But
Oh, really? What?
yeah.
Where were you supposed to be? And I hope you're not locking people up.
No. I got a friend of mine who's in town from Pennsylvania. So he drove all the way up here. He's going to this black-owned establishment called 1865 in D.C. Black-owned steak, shrimp, grill. So I know they're there. But I said I will meet them. I'll see them when I see them. But I'm here doing my thing right now.
Well, give us the address, that address for that place, and maybe we can go. I mean, at least it's a halfway decent year. At least it's not 1619, because oh, hell no. I'm afraid he wouldn't get out.
1865. Okay. It's going to be 3813 Georgia Avenue Northwest. Steak, seafood, and cigar spot. 1865.
Oh, my God. Cigars. Now, that's nasty. Uh-oh. I can't do smoke.
No, it's a whole section for the cigars. It's a whole section. It's not. Yeah, it's a whole section for them. But they get good food. It's black owned. Three brothers came together. They've made it very high end. There it is. A little picture of it, 1865. You can't see it, Doc, because you're not on it. But I'm showing.
No, I can see it.
Oh, okay.
I've got you on 2 ports.
Yeah. So 1865 is a great spot. A good little getaway. They're gonna have a band there tonight if you want to get away. But one of my friends from Pennsylvania, he drove up here because he realized one of our friends we know, him and his boys got together, and they just made them a whole high end restaurant. So I'm supportive. That's all.
Well, that's good. We need to support that. Do they do events there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
We need to see if we can have an angry black men's book thing there one night. That would be so wild. They have a private party room.
They do. They have private party rooms. The only thing they don't have, in DC, parking is a premium. You know that. So it will be better to Uber or Lyft because you would be hard pressed trying to find a parking. But you know what? Other than that, there's a subway station not too far away. It's good. It's a good spot.
Okay. Well, questions before, I'm just trying to make certain we don't blow anybody off.
No. Look at this. I'm sitting up here just enjoying the whole conversation. Again, I had already let my folks know that you're going to hear different voices because black thought, black speech, black voices are being silenced. The only time they want to hear black is when it's something foolish. Okay. And I'm not on that time. So I know the numbers is what it is because number one, they don't want to see no black man talk about no guns. And a serious black man talk about guns. Number two, they don't want no black man talk about no guns and no self-defense. And who's pro-black, pro-American. I mean, like I said, I don't want it to happen to America.
Yep.
Something happened to America, I'm American.
Well, it's sort of like the guy that shot up all the people. Now, this dude is a baby rapist and he has a gun.
Right.
He's not even supposed to have one. He had one.
Right. Well, when you have that skin that gives you that access, people look the other way. It's like a Jedi mind trick. They don't ask questions. They just, okay, here. They work together, man. They work together. So.
And we don't. We do not work. We elect not to work together. And we have to do better. I'm going to stop, but we can absolutely, for all the people that are in the mood, I'm going to be going from here over to see Brother Quentin. Like I said, I don't want his head starts pointing when he gets mad. I don't want to get into too much trouble. I don't want him to explode on me.
Again, Brother Quentin and I will be live, I think, on Tuesday. And I know that me and Chef C will be live on Thursday from 8 to 9, both nights. So tomorrow I'll have Pastor Yanika Wilkins tomorrow from 8 to 9. So
You need to have that pastor that I introduced you on so he could talk about Dr. King and how Dr. King told people be ready to fight when they got to DC. They didn't know Dr. King had planned to turn DC out. They had to kill Dr. King. That's the story. People didn't know Dr. King was tired of being nice.
Sometimes you just got to get tired. Look here. I was guilty at one time, just being nice. Being nice got me nowhere. It's when I put my foot down and start making my no's and my yeses yeses. Because again, watch this. People who give the most, sometimes they're not appreciated. And if you give too much, then you're hated. Okay? So when you learn that lesson, you never repeat it again. I try to make folks qualify for my time and for my resources, because again, people will just use you until you have nothing left for yourself or for anybody else. So you just have to be on top of that and always be reminded of that. People, look at the best things in life are not free. This information that we're sharing, it should be, you should want to pay for this. You should want to contribute. You should want to subscribe. You should want to support it. Okay?
And you said the best things in life aren't free?
That's right.
Well, that's why Kamala's no good.
So again,
okay, no comment.
She's a heartbeat from the presidency. You hear me? She's a heartbeat.
No, she's a heartbeat from Upshur Clinic. And you from DC too. You got that. Okay, again, for people from DC, y'all know what we just said.
Well, that's a DC thing. That's a DC thing.
What, for Upshur?
Well, yeah.
She's a heartbeat from Upshur.
So again, Doc, I'm not going to too much longer, man. I appreciate you.
Okay, thanks for treating me white tonight. We'll be back together. Let me get with Brother Quentin.
Yes. Now you said, what is he on YouTube? What?
He's Let's Talk To on YouTube.
He's who? Oh, Let's Talk To. Let's Talk To. So family, go to Let's Talk To on YouTube. If you're not doing nothing, you want to hear more of Dr. Randy Short, go to Let's Talk To on YouTube.
We're going to be talking about Black people and Palestinians.
LETS, the number 2. Let's Talk To. Okay? LETSTA. Okay, Let's Talk To. All right?
Okay.
Doc, I appreciate you. Go in peace, health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, resources, and a whole
white
lot
women?
No. And a whole lot
Oh, so you're not going to help me out? Oh, see, I can't believe that. Now you're acting like a law enforcement officer. I thought you was really cool.
You can have any woman you want. Any woman you, as long as they don't betray you, Doc. As long as you're not betrayed. That's all. I don't want you to be betrayed.
So I can have a Palestinian. She's a woman of color. I'm teasing. Never mind. Let me let you go.
As long as they don't betray you, Doc, because you don't deserve to be betrayed. Speak too much truth to be betrayed. Betrayal. Nobody wants to be betrayed. So get anybody you want, Doc. Anybody you want. But you know what?
Okay.
Or you can stay single like me. Stay single.
Well, who wants to be single?
I'm
You,
single.
you know, pillows don't have orgasms.
Huh?
Pillows
What?
can't have an orgasm. Okay, I'm teasing you. Keep going. Let's get out of here. I'm just being ignorant. You know, we could be stupid too. Serious people can be dumb, just like the illiterate Negroes that you buy the records from.
That's true. That's true. That's true. We
Why
all have a
can't we be? Why can't we be dumb like the people you buy records from?
it takes too much energy to be done. It
Hmm.
does. It does. It does. I mean, oh man. Eh, Oh my God, I can't even think about that. You almost short circuit my fuse just ask that question. It takes too much energy to be done. Because I gotta lower myself to come down to the dumbness. I'm dumbing myself down to be
Hmm.
done.
I know someone that lowers their self, Kamala.
Okay. Doc, go to Let's Talk 2 on the YouTube channel, okay? And I will talk
Okay.
to you sometime this week. And again, me and Quentin will be on, I think, on Tuesday, and me and Chef C will be on Thursday, and I will
Okay.
have so tomorrow night.
All right.
Bless you, my brother.
Oh, by the way, can you get me a copy of that book so we can do that?
Yes, I'll get you a copy of it.
Okay. They have it on Scamazon. That way, you can have that sent over. We can once you read through it, you're going to understand why you would want that for your platform. And we can sit down and talk about this thing. Okay. Let me get off here so you can go back to your friend eating all that good food at the Bushy establishment.
Trust me, it's not bougie. It's not bougie. It's beautiful, but it's not bougie. No. It's the color
Okay.
scheme. It's just a beautiful, chill establishment. I've been bougie. I know what it's like to be bougie. That is not bougie. That is not. But it's a chill spot. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere you can go and just chill, enjoy some live performances, mix and mingle with the singles. 1865, putting you on display right now in the DMV, in the district, more so in Maryland, on Georgia Avenue.
Mm.
Yeah, good spot.
Wow,
Doc,
surprised that.
get out of here, Doc. I'll talk to you, man.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, family, with that said, we are 2 hours and 30 minutes into this broadcast, and it was worth every minute. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned something. I hope you're walking away with something that you can think about. Again, look, we don't have a lot of spaces out here for other voices. Okay. If you're getting a daily dose every day of your traditional legacy networks, your ABC, your NBCs, your CBS, your Foxes, your MPTs, you're not hearing our voices, this is what you need to hear, family. You need to hear another perspective. So again, I am thankful that Dr. Short came on the broadcast and working with him and others who want to see some different changes. We cannot continue to go down the route that we're going and expect different results. Again, I got a real issue with the boule. I got a real issue with the baby boomer generation. I got a real big issue, and I did a video on them. Not all of them, but the ones in leadership on both sides, white and black, male and female. They've literally destroyed this country, and they're about to send us to war. And so I'm going to really put some emphasis on this. I need you sometimes maybe to step away from Democrat, Republican white and black, male, female, and look at the generation who has literally destroyed this country, literally got us a $34 trillion deficit, and about to lead us into war. So again, we're going to have these conversations this week. Again, tune in tomorrow, 8 to 9. I'll have a pastor on. We'll be talking about relationships. And then I'll have Brother Quentin on Tuesday, and my man Chef C from the bloodline, from the soil, chef and an author and a director. I was a part of his series, Soil. And, that thing on.
Okay.
Oh man, this thing on Siri just be nosy. Anyway,
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri pops on. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Again, support Dr. Short. That's his information right there. I need you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Need you to like, need you to share. And with that said, always remember this. It is not how much you know, family. A lot of people know a lot of things, but they don't care. Okay? A lot of people know a lot of things, but they don't care. So it's not how much you know, it's how much you care. And there is a lone wolf in you. And I am determined to bring him out. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow with another fantastic broadcast. And for all those that subscribe, I salute you. I thank you. Go through the live catalog and see what videos you want to watch. But we'll see you tomorrow from 8 to 9. Again, this was a special edition with Dr. Short tonight, but I'll see you tomorrow from 8 to 9. And I'll see you the rest of the week. With that said, stay encouraged, stay blessed. Have a great evening. Be safe out here. And I will talk.